All right, so brothers and sisters, I want to say this first. Anything that you are passionate about, any goals you have, don't let anything get in the way of that. Don't let anything distract you. Don't live your life comparatively to other people. If you have things that you want to achieve, set goals for yourself, work at it, take one step at a time. Don't let anything interfere with that. For myself right now, I'm pursuing my passion, and it starts with this channel. And I thank everybody that has supported my channel. I thank everybody that has liked, subscribed, and commented. I really do appreciate that, because my channel cannot build without you guys. And I hope you guys really do appreciate my work. Today we're going to be covering a player by the name of Jerry West. Jerry West is an all-time great combo guard, point guard / shooting guard. He could do it all. He played throughout the 60s all the way into the early 70s. And I felt compelled to make a video about him today because he does not get talked about a lot. This is a player that participated in 9 NBA Finals. Of course, he only won one of them, but he was one of the top-tier players of his era. And I wanted to give him a special shout-out today, so we're going to get right into it. All right, so Jerry West is a player that grew up in West Virginia. He went to a high school in West Virginia called East Bank High School, and he tried out for the varsity team in his junior year. He made the team, but he didn't play that much. He didn't start to play until his senior year. In his senior year, he started. He averaged 32 points per game, and he was able to lead them to the state title that year as well. And that was in 1956, and then afterwards he enrolled into West Virginia University, and he played there for a couple years. He averaged 25 points a game while playing there. He was a 2-time All-American player. He led them to the championship round in 1959. They did fall short. And then after that, he also participated in the Olympics, and he was able to lead them, or help lead them, alongside Oscar Robertson as well. They were able to lead them to a gold medal that year as well. All right, so then after that, he declared for the NBA draft, and he was taken number 2 overall by the Minneapolis Lakers. That was the state or the city that they played in at the time, the Lakers, that is. And then they eventually moved to Los Angeles. But he was drafted by them number 2 overall behind Oscar Robertson. And he played 14 seasons with the Lakers total. And in those 14 seasons, he made the finals 9 times, as I stated before. They were only victorious in one of them. A lot of those losses, the majority of those losses, came to the Boston Celtics, led by Bill Russell. They ran into them repeatedly throughout the 60s. A lot of those losses were very close. 2 of them came down to basically the last shot in Game 7. Jerry West in 1969, he was the only player, till this day, he is the only player that was named NBA Finals MVP in a losing effort. Now, in my personal view, I don't feel like a player should be rewarded as an MVP unless they're on a winning team. But Jerry West, he got the award. He was phenomenal in that series. And if you look up Jerry West's stats in the finals, he averaged over 30 points per game for his entire finals career. Of course, basketball is a team game. Sometimes you just don't get it done. He had a lot of downs in his career, a lot of down moments. He played with Elgin Baylor. Both of those players propelled that team to the championship round year after year, but they just couldn't get over the hump. They finally were able to get it done in the 72 season. And, of course, that is the year that Elgin Baylor did retire due to injuries. He retired in the very beginning of the season. Wilt Chamberlain was on the team. That was the year that they won a record 33 straight games, which is still a record till this day. They had the record at the time for most wins. They won 69 games that year, and they did win the championship that year, and Wilt Chamberlain was the MVP. And then after that, in the 72-73 season, they went back to the finals again and faced the same team, which is the New York Knicks. And the Knicks came back the next year and defeated them. And in the 72 season, when they did beat the Knicks also did not have Willis Reed, who was their best player. When they played them in 1970, let me throw this in there as well, they had Willis Reed, and they beat the Lakers in the 7-game series as well that year. 72, they did not have Willis Reed. He was not healthy. And in 73, he was healthy, and they were able to beat the Lakers. And then in 74, Jerry West pulled a groin that limited his playing time during the season, and he ended up retiring after that. And at the time when he retired, he was the third all-time leading scorer. Now, of course, as years have gone on, he's been, surpassed in terms of total points all time. He's been surpassed by a numerous amount of players now. I think he's still probably in the top 25. He's still in the top 25. I do actually know that for a fact. Now, when it comes to points per game, he's in the top 5. Only players that average more points per game than Jerry West are Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, LeBron, Jerry West, Kevin Durant. They're all in that 27 points per game range, and Elgin Baylor. So Jerry West was a phenomenal scorer. Mind you, he was playing in an era where there was no three-point line, and he still was able to, average as many points as he averaged and score as many points as he scored. He scored over 25,000 points in his career. That's still an impressive feat, even to this day. Also a player that led the league in assists. As I stated before, he is a combo guard. He was sort of kind of like a Steph Curry-like player of his era. He was listed as a point for the most part of his career, but he also could score the basketball at a high rate. Had about 4 seasons averaging over 30 points per game, and also did that in the finals as well and in the playoffs as well. He averaged 29 to 30 points per game in the playoffs and the finals as well. So he was a dynamic player, an all-time great player. A lot of people might not know. Some people do, but he is the NBA logo. And he has since gone on to be a coach for the Lakers. He did that soon after his retirement. He became a coach for them starting in the 76 season. He coached them for about 3 seasons. And he helped them get back to the playoffs after missing the playoffs for a couple seasons after his retirement. He helped coach them, and then in the 82 season, he became the general manager, and he played a big part in forming the dynasty that was the Lakers in the 80s with Magic, Kareem, and Worthy. Also was at the forefront of helping build the dynasty with Shaq and Kobe, and also was named the Executive of the Year in 1995. Let me not forget, he was named to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 1979. And after being employed by the Lakers for 40 years, he did step away. Of course, after that, he did return, and he was named president of basketball operations for the Memphis Grizzlies. Also was part of the Warriors staff for a little while, and now is a consultant with the Los Angeles Clippers. So he's done a lot for basketball, not just playing, but as a coach, manager, executive, you name it. And also as a player was a 10-time All-NBA team member, 4 times for the defensive team, and probably would have been more than that. It's just that the defensive team did not come into play until later on in his career, but he still made it 4 times. Great all-time player. For those of you who didn't know about him before this, I hope you guys learned a lot. And once again, brothers and sisters, I thank you for viewing the videos that I've put out so far. I hope you guys enjoyed. All glory be to God. Everybody have a blessed day.